Hey everybody, sit tight. I'm trying to figure out how to get my the setup that I've got for tonight actually going on. There's something wrong with the output settings. So if you guys would just bear with me for a few more minutes, I'm trying to copy and paste some links and stuff into the right areas. So we may just say, just to be safe, we'll start hopefully within the next 5 to 10 minutes. Not really sure just yet, so just hang tight. I'm going to go ahead and close this setup now and reopen the one that I've been working on for a while. So I'll be with you shortly, so just stay. Welcome to TORAH Talk. I am your host, William Hall, broadcasting live out of Kingsland, Texas, USA, with a brand new series, maybe mini-series, we'll see. Entry-level Biblical Hebrew. This is something that should be fun. Welcome everybody. So it's good to see y'all here. What in the world? There we go. Trying to get things back in order here after all this, the trials and stuff we've been going through lately. So now that we are back, now see, by the way, just y'all can probably see the little white box going around my face right now. That's like a face tracker on this video camera. I have no idea whatsoever how to get rid of it. But I just want to say welcome again, everybody, to the show. And let me close this out because it looks like I might be having some upstreaming issues there. So the broadcast could go in and out as you're watching it. And if it does, just have to tolerate it. We've been having some internet issues here. This is why we were not able to record with Rabbi Coffman on Wednesday. I found this out through Jason Akers, that was actually an internet issue. Anyway, so we're having some internet speeds issue here, but the video will actually upload uninterrupted. So once you go back to view the video later or share it or whatever, you'll be able to see it nonstop without any interruptions whatsoever. So anyway, I guess I want to start off basically. I don't know where the camera is at. Right there. Okay, I'll talk to you guys about this. This is, just to clarify, I am not fluent in Biblical Hebrew at all. I do know a lot of Biblical Hebrew. I know a little bit of conversational Hebrew. So this course, I noticed that a lot of the people who were following along with the Facebook post on rating your knowledge level base from 0 to 4 or 5 even, however that works, that a lot of you said you're at like a level 4, maybe even a level 4 or 5. So at best, you might find this whole video series entertaining, but maybe not educational. I'm thinking the ones that's probably going to benefit from this the most are the ones who are between 1 and 2. 3 will too, because I'm going to bleed in and out of doing like entry level and kind of intermediate, but mostly entry level because that's the whole point of this entire video series. So I want to start off by saying this: if you do, pardon me, if you do not have like an alphabet sheet that's got the alphabet on it, or you've never even seen one, need you to go online at your earliest convenience and actually download, and you don't have to download, just copy and paste it and print it off on your computer that's got the alphabet listed with the actual letters. Now, I will show you this screen here. The font that you're going to want to see is going to be what you see right now. It's one of those things where this is kind of a cursive-y type font, but if you have a Chumash or an interlinear Bible that has Hebrew and English in it, this is going to be the font more than likely that you're going to be seeing all the time. I've never learned how to write, I said cursive, I don't know if that's actually accurate or not. But there's block Hebrew as well, which is like a printing form, I guess you could say. So if you don't have a Chumash or an interlinear Bible, you definitely need to order one, get one. If you Stone Edition actually through ArtScroll has a really excellent one. They even have a 5-volume set of the Torah, Bereshit through Devarim, and there are Genesis through Deuteronomy, pardon me, that actually have, each volume is really thick. Each volume is about as thick as Rabbi Singer's Let's Get Biblical books. So, and the print in them, the really cool part is the print in them is just as big. Let me do this here too, so you can see what I'm doing. The print in there is actually just as big as his larger text. I guess you can see in this book. Let me get up a little higher. Sorry. It's upside down, I know, but you can see the text, like, see where it says Daniel 9:2 in black, that black band? That's about the size of the text in this thing. Having large text is going to help you, especially in the learning process, which for me, I'm still in the learning process myself. But where'd my screen go? So here's the deal. Like I said, if you've said that you're a 4 or 5, you can watch this, do whatever you want. In fact, you could probably help me with this. So I'm going to keep the YouTube comments open. The phone lines also are open. So if you have any questions along the way, feel free to call in. I may or may not be able to answer your questions. The way that I learned Hebrew was completely self-taught. Because out of desperation, I needed to learn, and so I just went. I'm going to tell you exactly what I did, and then I'm going to kind of go through it with you week after week and show you what I did. One of the things that we're going to do is we're going to take your interlinear Bible, or Chumash. Well, if it's interlinear, you'll have the Hebrew, and then right up underneath the Hebrew word phrase, you'll actually have the English phrase as to what that actually is and what it means. So if you don't have an interlinear, don't have to go buy one. If you have a Chumash or a parallel, we have English on one half of the page or on the right page and left page, whatever, and then Hebrew on the right page. I'll show you how to convert that Chumash into an interlinear, so that you can actually use it just by making a few small markings. And that's one of the tricks that I did to help me learn. So, okay, so to start off with, if you're at the 0 level, you have no knowledge of anything, you finish watching the show, but one thing you're going to need to do before I can actually help you is you need to learn the alphabet, and also learn the vowel points, the nikudot, okay? So the alphabet is most important, of course, primarily, and then the nikudot is to follow, so it kind of helps you. The training wheels to show you how to read the words or how to pronounce them, right? If you have no knowledge base whatsoever, tonight probably isn't going to help you much. We are going to talk about the alphabet a little bit, so it'll be good, but it's the best people that are going to benefit from this the most are going to be ones who put up a number 1 or greater. If you put up 0, then again, we're going to work with you on this, so don't panic. And if you're older, I've heard a lot of people say, well, I'm 65 years old, it's too late to learn the language. No, it's not. If you just learn the basic principles of learning what the letters are, what their names are, how they're pronounced, and then the vowels, you can actually read. And then all you need is a computer aid to Google is a great one, and you can literally go in and find certain words based on how they're spelled, and you can learn them yourself. So you're not crippled, you just need to learn how to search for them, okay? So the alphabet, I wished I had brought over, and y'all have to forgive me, this was completely on the fly, last minute. In fact, whenever I put the post up that so many of you followed along with, somebody asked, when are we going to do this? Now, in my mind, I was thinking next couple of weeks, but then as the day progressed and I was working, I just got thinking, well, I've got to be in the studio tonight anyway. It's probably going to be on a Thursday night. So I was like, why not just do the pilot now? We'll do a little explaining on how this whole thing's going to go, what we're going to try to accomplish. And it's going to be a lot of fun, that's for sure, because, when you're learning something that you want to learn, it's always fun. It's the stuff that you don't want to learn is when you really have issues. And so if I seem to be a little jumping around topic, like missing, like starting here and going on a bunny trail, feel free to kind of keep me in line. I'm going to keep the YouTube open. There we go. I see some notes now. Family Rosen. Okay, very good. and for which also, yeah, I am a brave soul. This is not necessarily you know what's funny is I've taught Hebrew for almost 2 years to a group in our town. So I'm kind of used to seeing people's faces, but now that you guys are all watching, I'm usually the one hosting the teacher. I am a bit nervous. I'll just be straight up with you now. So I'm just going to take a deep breath and try to get comfortable. And one way I will try to break my fear of people is just to get large on you. So I haven't had time to really work with all the colors in the background. When I move, you can see the lights changing at the back. So anyway, where do we begin? My goals for what we're going to accomplish here. This is going to be very important. Okay. The people who have like 1, 2, 3 level, y'all will probably, my goal is like within about 3 or 4 episodes is to get you to a point to where, depending on how much you study in your own, there we go, how much you study on your own time. If you're not someone who has a lot of time to actually study in the evening this stuff, you may have a hard time following along. Or maybe I may need to make this class only once a month to give you guys 3 or 4 weeks to kind of go over some practices that we're going to go through. And so it just kind of go the best you can. If the good thing about it is, if this seems to get too far ahead of you, you don't have to watch every episode live. You can just replay the same episode over and over and again, which is one thing that I'm going to push you on next. For all the ones who put in 0 for your 0 knowledge base, I want you to get a pencil and I want you to write this down. I'm going to show you a YouTube video. I'm not going to play it here. I'm just going to tell you where to go to find it, okay? I will confirm the actual address here. Let me pull up a web page real fast. There is a lady, Debbie, I think it's Debbie Friedman, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. YouTube, if I can find YouTube. Seems to be easy enough. Maybe I will play it. I'll play just a clip of it so that you can kind of get a feel for what it is. So this song is called The Alphabet by Debbie Friedman. I think it's Debbie Friedman. Golly, it's been so while since I've seen it. Let's see. Yes, I type wonderfully, I know. Okay, let me put in Friedman. Okay, there it is. I think this is the one. Yeah, it is Debbie Friedman. Okay, so all I did was I typed in the alphabet, ALEPHBET, and then Friedman. It's spelled like fried chicken, Fried, man, Friedman. Okay, and you're going to find the alphabet video. I'm going to play. This is the actual. Well, once you get past the actual ad, this is a song geared to teaching people the alphabet in general. I strongly recommend you using this link, this whole access point, because. Oh yeah, I love this. Okay, so before I play it a little bit. Music has always been a wonderful tool for learning, and so the brilliance of this song is just that. It's rather fast because fast-paced, which I think if I was to redo this myself, which I would never do, I would actually make the song slower just so that the pictures that are actually used in there with each alphabet letter can actually show up a little slower, because I found myself pausing the video a few times in the beginning, taking a look at the letter to see what it looked like. So this alphabet song is for all the people out there who put in 0. If you're a 1, you don't need this. If you're if you're a 1 or 2 or more, you don't need this song. But I'll tell you what, if you put down 2 or even 3, but you still struggle with remembering the alphabet, then yeah, you want to go ahead and do this. It's a really great song. It's geared for kids, as far as I know. This is what I cut my teeth on learning Hebrew. This is what David and Sarah, we all would sit around and listen to this song, and it's a catchy tune. It's cute. She's got a great voice. It's pleasing to the ear, and you can actually watch the video where the Aleph and then the Bet and the Gimel, Dalet, Hey, and they all start coming up on screen. The melody, you want to learn the song, like memorize it, like you're going to sing it karaoke. Because if you could do that, then that's one way of getting the alphabet committed to memory, even though you may not be able to like if I said, Zion, you might not know what's before or after it, but you'll recognize it and you'll know what it looks like. You can put them in order visually later as you go along. So So with that said, I'm going to play just a little sample of this. I'll see if I can put it on screen too. In fact, I need to put it on screen. So I'm going to let this play out for a minute. Listen to it. Listen to the rhythm of it. It's really wonderful. Tomahawk is asking, am I Jewish? No. We're going to be converting to Judaism. We have not done so yet. Jason, yes, this song is fantastic. Again, I am going to be watching the YouTube channel for chat. The call number is open. I opened up the line, so if you do call in, if you have any questions or just want to say hi, whatever, feel free. That's cool. The shows will be limited to an hour. I do want to cut it off at an hour best I can. Tonight we're going to go on a running hour. We started about 10 minutes late because I had some URL issues with the link for my software, but I got that figured out now. So. All right, so here we go. I'm going to play this, and while it's playing, I'm going to pull in a screen, and I'll be able to pull that in too so you can actually see it as well, okay? So this is it here. I think you can hear it pretty good.
A song for everyone.
Let me see if I put it here.
It's going to be quite simple, 'cause all you'll have to do is sing the letters after me. Then I'll sing after you.
Do it. Memorize it. Karaoke. Aleph, bet, vet. And then you repeat it. Gimel, daled, hey. Gimel, daled, hey. Vav, zayin, chet, tet. Let's see. Screen capture. Come on. Monitor. Yep, that's good. Select window. Do it again. Follow it. This is you're learning right here. Okay, so do this real fast. Let me find my screen. Okay, this will actually work. So I'm gonna go here. All right, there it is right there. Sorry about the ad on the side. I have no control over that, or do I? Anyway, sorry. Hang on. Yeah. Dang. Okay. Aleph, bet, vet. See the letters? My kids love this song. We laughed so hard trying to learn this song, but it was so fun, man. It really was. Uh-oh, what happened there? Let's put it back over here. There we go. How's that? Okay. And then basically this song just repeats. It goes over and over and over again. But this is the brilliance of it. This is how we learn: repetition, repetition, repetition. Okay, so the alphabet is I say it's simple. It's really not. I mean, anytime you're learning anything new, whether it's a game or a new career, everything's like learning a new language. You've got to learn pictures. You got to learn how the way things look. And you got to memorize their meanings, etc. So with what we're going to do tonight, I'm just going to kind of go over some basic principles. Next week will be more structured. Right now, again, this is the pilot, so we're going to kind of be all over the place. I will, like I said, please, if you have any questions, only because I may not be able to keep a total close eye on the YouTube chat. If you have any questions, do call in. That way you can actually get the question out, and you'll make sure I will answer it, okay? So we're going to be all over the place, just trying to cover what's going on, again, because this is so on the fly. Literally just decided to do this earlier today. So regarding the alphabet, just what you want to do once you print off your sheet from wherever. I'll tell you where I got mine. The very first alphabet sheet that I had was what was it called? The Idiot's Guide. You've seen the little black and yellow books that you can buy like at Half Price Books and all the stores, for dummies, the For Dummies guys. So I found a book that was Judaism for Dummies, and the very, very front or the back had a really stiff card. And let's see, where's my camera? I gotta look at you guys that are off to the side. So it was like a really stiff card. It was yellow and white with black text on there, and on the front it had the names of the letters, their numeric values, how to pronounce them, and on the back it had the nekudot, which is the vowel points. And so I kept that. I laminated it. Actually, I laminated my second one. I kept that thing in my wallet, and every time, no matter where I was at, if I was sitting at a stoplight or if I was, whatever the case may be, I would pull it out and just glance over those letters and just try to go over them again. And I would play that song over and over and over again. Again, you will not benefit much from any other class besides today if you filled out 0 on the questionnaire I had and you don't learn the alphabet. You have to do that first. At least get the letters. You can do the vowels a little bit later, okay? So learn the letters and then move into the vowel points at that point, okay? So the process that I used was, in fact, just for grins, I don't know if you saw this or not, but this this Torah scroll that's on the backdrop right now is actually our personal Torah scroll that we have. What happened with me and the way that I went about this whole learning process was I wanted to learn Hebrew so bad. Literally, I was just like, I couldn't stop thinking about it. It was a nonstop obsession, really. So I told my wife I wanted to buy a Torah scroll. So I went online and I searched for a Torah scroll. Then I found out how expensive these things were, and I was thinking, scratch that. Well, a little bit later, she found on Judaica.com, and this is something I would recommend for all of you too. And truthfully, if I had not bought the mini Torah scroll, it's a training scroll from Judaica.com, and it was like $160. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm telling you, it changed my life. It was absolutely amazing. When we brought that thing in, it was like a brand new baby showed up on the scene, and it was absolutely divine. Okay, so anyway, we ordered this thing, and I had no idea how big it was. I didn't know. I was worried that it was paper, and I was going to turn it, and it was going to tear, and all this other stuff. And it actually came in when it actually arrived. I was delighted because not only was it not paper, it was actually plastic, so you can't tear it. I mean, you could cut it, but not that you would want to. But I mean, it could be cut by accident if something fell on it. But it's very rigid. Letters are a little bit small, however. The biggest fear I had with when we bought it was I'm not going to be able to read anything without the vowels, and they don't put vowel points on Torah scrolls. Like if you look at the one that you're looking at now in this background, like here, everything you see here, there's just letters. All these little marks up here, those are just decorative, like flames or whatever you want. That's the way they made it look beautiful. There's no vowels. Unlike here, you will see. Now here, this is kind of confusing, and I'll try to get a different software in here than what this is. But if you look, I've got the cursor on the screen. Some of the things you see here are not actually vowel points. They're actually like cantillation marks. Like there's something here, it's like a little magnifying glass. Don't know what that is. This little diagonal sign, like a backslash, is a cantillation mark. Here again, most of your vowels, like even here underneath this aleph, there's a tseri and an aleph, and like a backslash. It's something to do with the singing, the way that they make it sound. So when they do their canting. Okay, so I'll try to get you something, like I said, that doesn't have those. It will simply have the nikudo, or have the vowels for you so you can see them. I'll give you an example. I'll just tell you like this is this week's Torah portion. I'm getting ahead of myself. One moment. The process that we're going to do once we get going is each week's Torah portion, and this is how I recommend for y'all to study too. Okay, every week with the new Torah portion, what you would do is what I did when I got the Torah scroll, which you don't need a Torah scroll, you can use like a chumash or whatever. I went to the very first verse of each Torah portion for that entire week, and I would dissect that one verse. Literally, I would literally dissect it. I would write notes. Yes, I took a pencil, wrote my chumash. I even wrote on the mini Torah scroll. It's plastic. We have an actual episode on that where we discuss it with Rabbi Sari. Is it a kosher to actually write on anything that's got Hebrew text? And so anyway, we can revert back to that later. So, but the way I learned it was this. So took one verse and I made sure I knew how to pronounce each word, and I would memorize how to say that whole sentence. The first time it was very slow. I mean, you could take a 5-word sentence and it was very slow. I struggled. It was it was literally like someone had been trapped in ice for 30 years and is thawing out. That's how slow it was in the beginning. But after repetition and you keep going, like when I don't mean keep going for years, I mean on this one verse, you start this off, you work your way through it, you struggle through it. And see, even if you have a 0 level, if you have the charts, not a joke, if you have the charts with the alphabet and the vowels, and you keep them, make them nice and big so they're easy access, you can struggle through this and actually you can propel actually your learning of the alphabet by doing this also. and this is kind of what I did too. I was almost at a good, comfortable level with learning the alphabet when I started to actually use the Torah scroll, the mini Torah scroll. And so I took the first verse. I would literally go through every single letter, making sure I knew how to pronounce it, pronounce the vowels. And so the first one, like in English, it would be like you're teaching a young 2-year-old or a 18-month-old a new 3-word sentence, and you try to get them to say it. That's how it feels like you're starting out, but don't be discouraged, because every single time you go, you're going to get a little bit faster and a little bit faster and a little bit faster. Before you know it, by the end of the week, you can not only read that sentence, and all it is one sentence, but that's where you start. All you have to do is read that sentence, and then you can memorize through this also what the translation is. And what happens is this. I was going for about 8 months on this Torah scroll, and in a way I was getting kind of discouraged. And but what I realized was, one time my friend Lon came down, and he was asking me a bunch of questions, and we did a little Hebrew setting, and I didn't realize how much Hebrew I had learned over that short period of time without really realizing it. It was kind of like the Karate Kid movie. Remember, it's like he's out there waxing the deck and sanding the deck and waxing the car, and he thinks he's not learning anything, right? And then Miyagi's like, he pulls him up because Daniel's frustrated, and he throws a punch at him. Whoa, wax off. Okay. Anyway, I love that movie. This is going to be fairly similar. You're going to learn stuff that you're not even realizing you're learning until it's time to actually use it in a different setting. And then you're going to be like, wow, I didn't know I knew that. So one sentence at a time, literally read it in Hebrew. I'll give you the example right now. You've already got it up on the screen, okay? Sorry, I didn't even know that was up on screen the whole time. That's okay, but you've been staring at the letters at least. Okay, so this first letter, actually, let me just see if I can jump around. Nah, that's going to be too confusing. Okay, so this is the very first sentence in Parshat Shemot. And I have not seen this sentence since last year, because that's the last time I studied the actual whole phraseology of it. Okay, so Vayishma Yithro, some, I guess Sephardic would say, or Ashkenazi would say Yisro. That Tav, sometimes we'll get into that later. Okay, Vayishma Yithro, Kohen Midian, Choten Moshe, Et Kal Asher, Asa Elohim, LeMoshe, Ul Yisrael, Amo, Ki Hotzi Hashem. Okay, this word right here, this is the word you will never hear me pronounce. This is the sacred name of our Creator, the way it's spelled in the Hebrew language. Yud and a Hey and a Vav and a Hey. And we'll get into a little bit of teaching about why it's spelled that way and why those letters. It basically covers all the tenses of Hashem, his past, present, and future tense. So, Et Yisrael Mimitzrayim. So this little sentence right here, I would say this would be a great spot for y'all, as a matter of fact. All the ones who are at least at 1, maybe 2, you can take this. If you're at 1 where you know the alphabet, don't know the vowels, then print off the vowel sheet. I'm not sure, you could probably go to... Actually, I don't want to recommend any sites for where to get the alphabet because I don't know what each site is actually supporting of, and a lot of people do take issue with that. So I would say get the vowel sheet, keep it next to you, use your knowledge of the letters, compare the vowels, and start speaking this stuff out loud. Don't be thinking it. You need to speak it. Okay. So as you speak it out loud and just go through it. Take your time. Don't rush. After you finish it, go back and do it again, and then again and again and again. And when you get to a point to where you can actually speak it semi-fluidly, then pull out and find out what each word means, and then read it. Now you can variate from this. You don't have to do it this way. This is how I did it. Okay, read it. One word, find out what it means, and say Vayishma, right? Okay, and then Yitro and Kohen. Okay, each word, and then each time you say the Hebrew word Midian, of course that's an easy one. It's like sandwich. It's a sandwich, right? Okay, and say the English with it, and so that you're programming your mind to memorize what this is. Okay, and then do this for maybe 3 months. You know your pace. If you notice that you're actually accomplishing your goal of memorizing not just how to say it, right? The whole verse, but you memorize what they mean also. And it may take you a full week. You may only be able to do half of it. This is actually a little bit of a long verse. Pick verse 2 instead. Let me pull it back up again. So like verse 2 here, let's see where to go. Here it goes. Okay, Vayikach Yithro Choten Moshe et Zipporah Eshet Moshe Achar. Does that say that right? Yeah, Achar. Okay, so take verse 2, okay? Dissect it. It's shorter. It'll give you a little bit more of an achievable task. Once you get this pattern going on to where you can accomplish this maybe in 2 or 3 days, then add a verse, okay? The point being here, you don't ever get to a stopping point. You want to keep going and keep going. Like right now, I'm doing about 5, sometimes depending on where I'm at, 5 or 10 verses a week, okay? And I'll probably do doing this for years because you want to practice your sight reading as well. For the people who are like at 2, they know the vowels, they know the nikudot, but you're not quite at 3. Maybe you're not good at reading. Don't worry about translations right now. Just simply practice sight reading only. Don't even worry about what they mean. Just read it over and over again until your tongue and your ears begin to flow with what you feel and what you're actually hearing. See, I keep forgetting to change the screen back. This is weird when I'm doing it by myself. Where there's no I'm the host and the guest. It's taken all my attention, so I apologize for any kind of weird stagnant videos or images on screen. So with that said, over and over again, repetition, and then what you'll realize is your database, your knowledge database for how much you know and how much you have learned will really surprise you. One thing that I did, because I was wanting to learn also, they have applications for your cell phones these days, right? And these applications are like biblical Hebrew in a year, that sort of a thing. They'll have like the top 500 or top 1,000 words used in the Bible. And so I downloaded this app and I figured, this is going to be a hard start over. And I started going and I was like, I already know that one. I already know that one too. And it was like about every 10th or 11th word I would say, I need to save that one. And that's the one I would focus on learning. And so your pattern of how fast you learn, it's really going to be based on your determination. And you'll know your determination. You know what they say, if you want to know where a person's heart is, look at their checkbook. I think I hear my son. Okay, maybe not. I heard. Okay, my wife's supposed to be coming over here soon. Hopefully you'll be able to meet her too. So, okay, so I'm going to look up here real fast. I'm going to skim the questions on live chat real fast just to make sure I didn't miss anything important. Looks like there's plenty of viewers out there. Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Again, tonight's pilot, it's not very structured because it's just on the fly. Next week, I will try to have something a simple topic, something that we're going to stick on. We're not going to cover a broad area of teaching styles. We're just going to, when next week comes, I'm just going to kind of show you an assignment. We're going to go through the week's Torah portion, which we may even do that tonight before, let's see, we've got about 25 more minutes left. We'll go in here and we'll dissect this one at a time. So the ones who are at 0 level, this will still help you because you're going to see, you'll see on screen the cursor where I'm going to put it, and you could follow along with the letters and with the sounds and things like that, okay? One thing to know on the elementary basic level is the name of every, and you'll learn this in that song too, Debbie Friedman, the Alphabet song. Because she part of the introduction music in her lyrics is, the name of the actual letter. Well, that's also that first sound that it makes. Bet, right? For example, makes the b sound. Okay, vet. Gimel, g, G, and there is a semi-equivalence or a semi-parallel because if you think of alphabet, so think about A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Of course, ours doesn't work that way, but Hebrew does. Okay, so Aleph, Bet, right? So Bet, Gimel, which is let's give it a C, D, E, whatever. Dalet is the letter D, technically. In fact, if you see phonetic Hebrew being written out, you'll see them using the American language, and they'll use the equivalents so you'll know how to pronounce them. Okay, and that'll go all the way through the alphabet. there's a lot of interesting things, a lot of really cool stuff about the alphabet that we can get into at a later time. And no, I do not know at all. I only know a fraction of it. But I will be sure to share what I learn from teaching you guys and actually seeing all of your stuff here too. I know how you feel. Gavriel Sanders, you are my man. Okay, so listen up. I just saw Gavriel is there. Listen. If you are at 4 and 5, you're going to want to tune in on Sundays at 5 p.m., okay? Because Sundays at 5 p.m., Gavriel Sanders has his own show on TORAH Talk, okay? And it's Hebrew for Fun and Profit. And he's teaching kind of entry, but more like intermediate-ish, you could say. And you would definitely learn a lot from there. So you want to actually tune in on Sundays at 5 p.m. Texas time, right? And don't miss Gavriel Sanders. Man, that's cool. I feel like shy and like nervous now that he's watching. Shiloh Asher, thank you for doing these lessons. Great. Wendy Pruitt, thank you. Awesome. I'm looking for, okay, Jason Akers. You know what, Jason? No better time than now. You amaze me. You tell me you haven't been on computers or working with computers in so many years, but man, you've solved so many problems in very little time, man. It's brilliant. You're awesome, dude. Okay, so Sally, let's see, relax and breathe, Will. Yes, thank you. I think I will. Take a deep breath. Oh, and if I get to talking too fast, I will try to watch. I do talk fast, so I'll do my best to make it slow, okay? Okay, can you put it on the screen so we can see what you're seeing? Yes, and actually, PJ, I will certainly be doing that. And in fact, in just a moment, we're going to go ahead and pull up and do a little sample of the reading, which I kind of just breezed through it really fast before, but I didn't. Okay, what was that link again, please? Paul Miller. I'm going to type it in the YouTube chat. Actually, I wonder, yeah, let me just type it if I can. Actually, I don't know how to type the link, though. It's Debbie Friedman, and it's the Aleph-Bet song. So, yeah, it's just, Friedman is spelled like fried, F-R-I-E-D-M-A-N, okay? And also, be sure to ask a lot of questions, too, or discuss amongst yourselves in the YouTube chat, because there are people there like Gavriel Sanders. There's some people who are watching probably to see how much I don't know, who can actually answer your questions if I miss something, or even if I misrepresent something. You're going to find that I'll probably be not totally accurate on everything. However, it'll be close enough. Like, for example, the vowels. Depending on who's teaching you the vowel points, you're going to hear different opinions of things, and even the letters. I actually had to learn from 4 different books before I finally figured out, because 4 different books actually said something like different on how to pronounce certain vowels, and certain letters as well. So, which actually does bring me probably to something I need to do. This would probably be a good thing to do this week, or maybe I should wait until next week to do this. Probably will. Okay, next week I will go over each letter of the alphabet, tell you the sound and how to actually make the sounds, because a lot of the sounds that are pronounced in Hebrew are foreign to our tongue. We don't use that part of our mouth to make sounds. So I'll go over with you on each one, and then also talk to you about the vowels. Now, the vowels, for example, too, just like the letters, the names of the vowels indicate what sound they make, okay? Like there's the letter Sharuk, it makes the U sound. There's a Chirik, it makes the E sound. Kibbutz makes the U sound, like put or foot. Right, so as you learn those patach, kamatz, they both make like an ah sound. One's a little stronger, one's a little bit weaker, and this sort of thing. So as you learn them, just learn what the names of the letters are, not just the sounds they make. Memorize that, because that will help you identify them and actually know what sounds they make together too. So, okay, let me just do a quick scan here. What Bible program is that? This is, let me see if I can just put it up on screen for a minute, because I forgot what it was actually. Oh, there you go. Okay, this is Olive Tree. Okay, if you want to use this app, I don't remember. I'm pretty sure I paid for this, maybe $35. Okay, but it was one of the best $35 I ever spent. It's really amazing. There's a couple good apps that you can get on your phone that are incredibly amazing as well. But this one here, like I said, it is Olive Tree, and the way you get it is when you go to olivetree.com, you first have to download the actual Bible application. Because without getting the application onto whatever your device is, whether it's your phone or your desktop, that I guess they call those modules, the module won't show up. It has to have a place to work. So you download the application that's like putting a piece of paper down to write on. So the software is like the piece of paper, and then the actual print is, well, it is what it is. It's a print. So you have to have both. Okay, so you can search for it. It's called BHS Parshed. So I will, if you need more information on that, let me know. Jason, we can talk again tomorrow if you want, and I can give you more details on that. Do you say Hashem name in prayer? No. Alicia, the only time I say Hashem's name is if I'm reading it out of a prayer book. Maybe that's what you were asking, and I don't know exactly how kosher that is. I'm not really sure. I know. Well, actually, no, it's not true, because even when I'm reading the Torah, this isn't the right format for this. But I'll just say this real quickly. I treat Hashem's name like I would my own father's name. I've never once called his name when I'm talking to him, because that's disrespectful. If somebody asks me who my father is, then I tell them, this is my father's name, and I tell them what it is. And that's the basic rule. I just kind of treat it more respectable than I would my own father. And so, if I'm reading it, like if I saw this right here, it says, blah, 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 I'm going to the store and whatever. That's a bad example. I would still call him dad or father, whatever the case may be, and unless somebody asked me his name, and even then I would just be very careful with it. So, okay, so let me keep going. There's a lot of good questions in here. I don't want to miss them, even though I will, because there's a lot of comments here. Let's see. You're doing great. Oh, thanks. Thank you, Thomas. Lorene Ward, I'm here. Good to see you, Lorene. Gavriel, okay. Great program. Great idea. Great teaching. Oh, yeah, no. Don't go there, Gavriel. If I was a great teacher, I could teach a lot more people Hebrew. This is just like I'm throwing it out there and to see if it'll stick to the walls. So, okay, thank you, Andrea. Okay, Scotty Hilton. Okay, let's see. Hey, brother. Okay, sent you a text. Oh, cool. Oh, Mordecai. Oh, my gosh. I love you, brother. Thank you so much. Wow. Actually, and you're wrong about that, but it's okay. It says, as always, you the man. PJ, just type alphabet song. Yes, follow that lead. Okay, I will. Okay, looks like we're actually at the end of them. When studying Torah, you are permitted to say Hashem's name as in Adonai or Elohim. Wonderful. Thank you, brother. That's my big brother, Mordecai. He is really excellent in halacha. So, you can address him as Adonai or Elohim, but not use the sacred name. Okay, cool. Okay, so moving forward. So now I'm going to shift gears. I'm going to go to, I'm going to pull up the screen now where the Bible software is, and I'm going to let you see what's going on here. Let you kind of become familiar with the letters. I do have another Bible software that we can utilize. However, I don't have it loaded on this system yet. If you want to get a free version of a visual text of Hebrew, you can download eSword. Okay, eSword is free. I think it's eSword.com or something like that. But yeah, I think you have to do it the same way. You have to download the software, and then you've got to go in there and tell it what module you want to add to it. But I don't think they charge for the Hebrew. Okay, the format's different, but it does put it up there for you where you don't have the vowel points, like I said, which are like the chirik, the shva, the patach. Okay, it'll have those, but it won't have like this stuff here, the cantillation marks. It'll make it easier to read. The more stuff you have on the page, the more confusing it actually looks. In fact, sometimes it looks like the vowels could even be confused with one another. Okay, so let's see. I'm trying to figure out how to go about this now because there's such a wide variety of learners. Daniel Shannon, what are the levels you're referring to when you say 0, 1, 2, etc.? I put a post on Facebook, and in fact, since I can actually show that, I'll just show you what I meant by that. Basically, today, whenever I came across this idea of doing the show, I was trying to, let me get a screen up again, sorry. I was trying to figure out where everybody's knowledge base is. Let's see, it's about actually, no, oh, Michelle, no, this is wrong. Okay, Michelle, she was asking a question. I thought that was for today. Okay, so basically, I needed to know where everybody was at. So let me go right here. Oh, somebody posted. Thank you, Mark Sosnowski. He put up the alphabet video for you on my latest post on Facebook. So thank you for doing that, sir. Appreciate that. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to put this down here. Let me find what screen is actually showing. Oh, it's actually there right now. Okay, so basically what I put here, you can see it on your screen. Hold on, let me open it up. There. Okay, so this was the question I asked. Please respond with only a number. What is your comprehension level? 0. I do not have any familiarity with Hebrew at all. 1. I am familiar with the alphabet. 2. With the vowels. 3. With reading. 4. Reading and comprehension. And of course, you can go 5, 6, and 7 and whatever. But I was really more concerned with these because this is an entry level course that I'm going to be trying to teach here. Okay, so it's going to mainly cater to the it's probably going to cater to all 5 of those actually, but I'll try to keep it geared towards 0 and 1 and 2 the best I can on a regular basis. We'll definitely cover a little bit for everybody in all 5 of those stages, but probably mainly teaching for the like 1 and 2. Again, if you're level 0, you need to learn the alphabet. Can't download the song, but you can actually bookmark the song. Like I said, Debbie Friedman. Oh, you know what's funny? I actually said I was going to put that up, but I never did. Hang on, there we go. There it is right there. So anyway, this you got to memorize, do everything you can to memorize it. Get you a card. You can make your own card, stick it in your wallet, keep it in your purse, whatever the case may be. Learn. You have to learn the alphabet, the names, the meanings, and everything, and the vowels if you're going to move on to step 2, and you don't need anybody's help for that. You can do that on your own. Once you get to that, then you can move on to the next step. Once you do that, you can really kind of move on through 2, 3, and 4 at your own pace anyway. So okay, so let me pull up now this verse. I'm just going to kind of go. I'm going to point out a few of the letters and a few of the vowel marks, just to kind of give you an idea if you're like at the 0 and 1 level, what these are. Okay, like vav. Vav is it makes the V sound like Victor, right? And it's called the vav. This is a patach. One thing you'll notice is there's 2 vowel marks that are really close to being the same in particular, and that's the one that looks like a minus symbol underneath the letter. And then you'll see the next one over here is actually going to be a, patach in the kamatz, okay? One of them, they make kind of the same sound. They kind of make the ah sound, all right? One is more like ah, and the other was more like aw. It's like a deeper. So the way I kind of memorized it was, this looks like a minus symbol. This, if you had a line above it going up, it would look like a plus symbol. This one is less emphasized. This one is more emphasized, plus and minus, okay? So if you see the one that looks like the minus, or the T that could be a plus if you put a leg up, those two would be, in my opinion, would be kind of paired. And again, what I'm going to teach you on how to use the letters and the vowels may not be bullseye, but it'll be really close enough to where you can still learn and keep going, okay? Let me make sure there's nothing important here that I missed. Let's see, Safari is great. Okay, so I'm going to let you guys answer. Gavriel, you can please answer as many questions along here as you can. And again, Safari. Okay, good. Oh, thank you, Andreas. Is Safari, oh, cool. Is a Jewish library online. That's really good to know. I did not know that. Okay, I am currently in Biblical Hebrew and working on Shval. Nice. Okay, cool. Okay, so, all right, so going back, we're just going to kind of go through this. Vav, Yud, Shin. You're going to see some things like you'll have a letter Shin and a letter Sin, which are base, or Sheen, Seen, however different people pronounce it. It looks like a letter W, right? This is just to give you an idea what to look for. The way we know it's a Shin, not a Sin, is because of where the dot is located above it. The dot is kind of like the indicator of which letter it is, right? The 2 dots underneath it it's called a Shva. the way I kind of memorize it is it's like shva, sh. It doesn't really make a sound. It can, depending on where it's positioned, but when it does, I think it's mainly like a mild ah sound, sort of, just very, very breathy, like almost not even noticeable. Okay, so the shin, again, this is the shin. Okay, right here you'll see there's a sin, because now the dot's over the left side. And for those of you who already know the alphabet, but you kind of struggle with this, the best way for me to tell you to remember this is shin and sin. Okay, with shin, the dot is on the right side. The shin, right. Sin is not right. So if you think of the idea, is sin right or wrong? No, sin is definitely not right. Sinning is not right. Sin, the letter sin or sin, the dot is not on the right. That's how you remember that. That's it may work for you, may not. A lot of stuff I do, it caters to my brain and it caters to how I think, but in general. So, okay, so Yud, Tav, Resh. Now here's an interesting thing too. Like I said, there were some letters that we don't have sounds, certain sounds in our. Man, I need to work at my green screen. Looks like it's blurry there. We don't have certain sounds that we use. When I first started learning Hebrew, I thought this resh, which is like the letter R. Let me pull it back up again. I'll point it out again. It's like the letter R in our language, or resh, right? And so, but I knew it wasn't like like red. I just remembered it had a weird flair to it. So I was thinking maybe it's like the Spanish R, like, but it's actually not. It's kind of like that, but it's not. It's more like in the back of your throat. It's like you're gargling water, like right. That's kind of corny, I know. But that's the like Torah. It's not Torah. It's not Torah. It's Torah, almost like toga, like a garbled G, Torah. So it's really weird. It's very difficult to pronounce. I don't know. I don't use it that way, but that's how it is. Okay, so the resh, ayin. There's two silent letters that are in the alphabet, and they're kind of right here. You have an aleph here and an ayin. Okay. The way they make their sounds, well, of course, the way that they're illustrated making sounds is the vowel marking that goes with it. Okay, so every time there is a sound of a word, you kind of have to have some sort of a place for that sound to exist, because the vowel marking, the vowel sound that it makes, comes after. This is a good rule to remember. It comes after the consonant sound. Okay, so if there's no main consonant before here, but there's a vowel, this is what they use as a placeholder. And again, I know that may not be dead on. However, it helped me understand how vowels are actually used in the process. Okay, so aleph and ayin, right? If you notice, everywhere they're used, they just have a vowel sound, so to speak. Let me close off this Facebook so it doesn't give me an alert along the way here. Okay, so aleph and ayin. Oh, where'd it go? I gotta get back over here where you can see my cursor. Okay, where did my thing go? Okay, so let's just start here. This is aleph, shin, resh, ayin, sin. Remember the sin, shin, right? Got the dot over the left or dot over the right. Shin is right. Sin is not right. Okay. Elohim limoshe. Okay. So again, aleph, lamed, hey. Are you seeing all this? I think y'all are. Oh yeah, I got it in the right place. Aleph, lamed, hey, yud, mem. Okay. Now I want to show you something really interesting here as we go along. Again, this is like we're just doing the intro level, the introductory pilot, so I can kind of spot around without having too many critiques on this thing. If you look here, this little looks like a square, okay? And then this is more like an arch, right? These are the same letter, okay? Don't be overwhelmed. Don't be discouraged when I tell you that there's different forms of letters. There's only a handful, okay? If you ever see the square letter, mem, this the letter mem, it makes the m sound like Moshe or Moses, right? And if it's shaped like a square, then that means that's the end of a word. So a lot of times when I've seen different text and it looks like it's kind of cramped up, when you see what is called a sophete or a final letter, that's an indicator, well, that's the end of a word. That's not like in the middle of a word. That's absolutely at the end. And so if you look right above it, and two or three of these words have a final letter also. This right here, this is the letter nun, okay? The regular letter nun, let me see if I can find it in here. Y'all probably already spotted one. It looks the same. Well, it looks similar except for one thing. Let's see. Where are you? I don't see. It's probably right before my eyes. Okay, so the regular letter nun kind of does this number at the top, and then it comes down, and then it stops at the line, which I would call the line, which if you were writing on paper, you would kind of aim this part of the letter spelling on the line, and this would hang down like you would a Y or a G, you know, in how we use our English language. So this letter usually turns to the left. Okay. Oh, sorry. One major thing, by the way, for introductory Hebrew levels, like where you have no knowledge base, Hebrew reads from right to left. That probably was something important to tell you rather than left to right. My wife likes to say that Americans are really the ones that are messed up because a lot of other languages also read from right to left. So anyway, going back to this nun, this is another final letter that you can see has a different form, but it's very similar. So mem, dalet, yud, nun, the nun sophete or nun final. This is a chet. There are three letters, I'm going to point them out to you, that I found that was the most difficult for me to grasp because I was trying to learn them from different sources. The first source I learned, I had it all memorized, and then I was I was going like shopping, if you will, not to buy things, but shopping for another source of learning Hebrew. And then I heard somebody else pronounce it slightly differently, and it confused me, or they explained it on paper differently. One thing I have noticed is that when you have a book that has Hebrew and they're teaching Hebrew, depending on who's actually teaching it, will depend on how they use the English language to illustrate what sounds they make. For example, one of the books that I have actually shows some things. I got to switch cameras again because I hate looking at the same screen for more than 5 minutes at a time. So I'll see if I can try to remember to do this as we go along. So one of them I would see, they would actually illustrate one Hebrew word, and they would use one spelling in English, using English letters to show me how to pronounce those. And then, so I learned it and then went to another book later on. I was like, wait, this says it's pronouncing it differently. So there's the main ones are this. This letter here, I got to pull it back up here now so you see it. Okay, so this letter that I'm circling over right now, that's the letter Hey. Okay, it's a third letter in Hashem's name, okay? I'm sorry, second letter and the last letter, pardon me, my brain is all over the place. Okay, so the Hey looks like and sounds a lot like, I'm going to move it slowly so you can follow my cursor, like the chet, okay? The chet and the hey, right? The sound difference that they make, the hey is like the letter H, okay? So it makes like you're breathing, like a heavy breath, like you're trying to fog up your window, hey, okay? The chet, I first learned that the chet had this chet sound, like this gargling sound in your back of your throat, or in the top of your throat, so to speak. But then later I realized after listening to a lot of different rabbis speak it, they didn't do that. Now, I don't know what the rule absolutely is, but I can tell you what I think it is. And I think it's this. The sound that the chet makes is like a hissing cat. So if you make the like the sound of a hissing cat, like without the bubbly sound in the back of your throat, chet, like that. It's like you're tightening up your tongue to the back of your throat and you just breathe with the restricted flow of air. Chet, okay? Now, the third letter that kind of goes with it is this one here, okay? And that's the letter chaf. Now, this one does make like a clicky noise in the back of your throat when you pronounce it correctly, okay? It's chaf, okay? Now, you can see the letter, it looks like a, hold on. I've been like reading it for so long I can't remember which one's forwards or backwards. It looks like a backwards letter C. However, the final version of this, let me see if I can find it. Not that the final will actually help you in the sense of things, but I just want to show it to you anyway. Just remember that one looked like a letter C. Okay, and then I wish the video was in real time, because then I could actually watch you and you could say, there is one right there. But see, I'm like 20 seconds ahead of you, so you're not actually hearing this at the same time. So basically, this letter Chaf, in the middle of a word is going to look like a letter C. Whenever it's at the end of a word, it's a Chaf Sofit. It basically looks the same, but like this Nun Sofit, how it kind of was across here, right? The Nun for the letter N, but at the end of a word, it goes down and it makes a long tail. That's how you know it's the last letter in the word. The Chaf Sofit does the same thing, like Melech David, right? This right here kind of holds the same form depending on the font you're looking at, but this part down here that's the lower corner round actually folds down like a hinge. Like this right here is the hinging point right there where I'm pointing, and then this right here just swings down like this. So this right here goes across and it comes straight down, right? So that's how these little Sofit things are working so far. So this is a Chaf. Now, this particular letter makes two different sounds, okay? It can make the K sound like a kite or cat, or it can make the sound, right? Like you got a really heavy snore going on in the background, right? And the way you tell the difference is if there is a dagesh, which is like this little dot, that's actually a vowel, by the way. That's a cholam vowel. If there is a dot in the middle of this backward C, okay, then you can look at it like a cough drop, right? Looks like a mouth sort of, and it's like a dot in there. It could be like a cough drop because it's the letter Kaf, right? So if you see the dot inside there, just think of cough drop. That's the letter Kaf. Without it, it's the letter Chaf, right? So it's different, okay? And it does make a difference because the way that you pronounce words and the way the meanings would be possibly changed otherwise. So like here is chotain, right? And here is kol. Same letter. One's got the cough drop, kol. The other one does not. Chotain. Okay, this is the O sound. Remember I said, so this is cho. I'm sorry, that's not chotain. What am I thinking here? I've got a word in my mind that's actually it's not this one. This is a hey, not a tav. Just to clarify this, look at this letter. This is the letter hey. So this is okay. Now I'm confused. So either this is wrong because Kohen is not spelt with a cough. I don't think. Gavriel, do me a favor, clear this up for me. Kohen that's a cough, right? And if it is, then this is actually a misprint. There should be a dagesh in the middle here. That's what confused me because if that's a chet, if that's a chaf, then it would be a different word, and that's why I assumed this was different. This letter here, the hey, is very similar. Follow me? To this letter also, as well as this one. This is the chotain word I was thinking I was reading. This is the chet, and it's not so gargly. It's more like a hissing sound. Chotain, right? But the tav and the hey are very similar, right? This one has like a bottom and a foot, like a little foot sticking out. That's a tav. It's the last letter in the alphabet. One thing that's interesting with this font, a lot of these letters look like they could be taken parts of. For those of you who know your biblical Hebrew, what you're going to see here, let's see, notice that the letter before it at the end of the word prior. Okay, Gavriel, I don't know what you meant by that. Hey, Gavriel, call in to the number. I'm going to put you on and let everybody hear. I want you to put in a little soundbite for us and kind of illustrate what you're trying to teach us now. In fact, I wouldn't mind actually having you watch every show and just to call in from time to time and clarify some things if you want to, because realistically, your show is what gave me the idea to do this one. And so after people have gotten what they need from here, just in the basic stuff, they're going to be pushed right on to your show. So going back to this whole deal. So basically, I'm just giving you some examples like this here, the dalet, for example. This is the letter like the letter D, right? There's another one that looks similar to it right in the next line, or actually you scoot straight over to my right. I'm going to go real slowly again. Okay, so this is the letter R, basically, resh, or resh, if you will. Okay, so the dalet and the resh look very similar, but watch this. Look at the dalet, and now look at the chet. The difference is one leg right here. If I cover that leg up, that looks like a dalet. Now let's move a little bit further to the left. This is the letter hey. It's like it's got the leg, but it has an opening right near the top. That's a hey. Okay. This tav, again, looks like the resh. It's got the little thing with the toe here. These two also look similar. And maybe this is something Gavriel can help me with too. I'm sure there's a reason for this, but this tav uses the main part of the resh, okay? Whereas the hey, that must be Gavriel. Hey, shalom. Thank you so much for calling in, my dear brother.
My pleasure.
My dear brother. Okay, let me make sure I've got you in the sound. I'm going to put this up here. Hold on 1 second, just so they can look at a different screen for a moment. Okay, so I was trying to follow you along there. This might be good for me too, because as I'm teaching them, I'm going to have questions of my own that I can't answer. And so if you're going to be available from time to time, and I know you're busy because with school and with all your classes you teach, I'll be very delighted to have you connect with us here on these shows. So go ahead with what you were saying. I saw the sentence. It scrolled already because there's a lot of people typing. It says, okay, somebody said it got quiet. I don't know why. Oh, check 1, 2. Check. Okay. Go ahead and give me a sound check real fast. I want to make sure you're coming through good.
Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet.
Very good. Okay. All right. Go ahead and...
I can hear myself coming back.
I don't know how to do... Let's see. I wonder... Okay, then do this. I'm not going to interrupt you. This is just for now anyway. Just kind of pull the speaker away from your ear so you can just talk into it like you're talking into a microphone, because I don't want... That way your voice doesn't distract you. Okay, go ahead.
Very good. Well, first of all, I just have to say, and I think everybody else echoes this, what a great idea for you to do this, because it's not just what you know, but it's how you feel. Everybody can relate to the fact that you've been through this process. You're so non-intimidating and refreshingly down to earth and very clear, and you use great concepts. Your illustrations are just super. So I picked up some good ideas listening to you tonight. So I didn't drop in to see, what's this. I was thrilled that you did this because I couldn't get to this level.
Got you.
You're better at this than I am.
Okay.
Okay, so let's deal with this specific question. And that was going back to that letter Kaf,
okay,
which was here in the word Kohen that really looks like Kohen. And that is correct in the biblical text. There are some different principles, let's call them, of expression or pronunciation that occur within the biblical text that are different than what we have in everyday modern Hebrew pronunciation. Now, you are familiar with the Beged Kefet letters.
Yes.
Or Begad Kefat, as some people call them.
Yes.
That there are 6 letters that can take a dot. That dot is called a dagesh. The word dagesh means emphasis. Only 3 of those letters today do we actually make a change with, and the other 3 that we don't make a change with still hold by the principles, but without the pronunciation.
Okay.
A good example of that would be Gimel. But the Temanim, the Yemenites, actually, if they don't have a dot in the Gimel, they pronounce it J, like the letter J. But that's for a different, we're into phonology now, and that's for a different discussion. But just for this case here, for people that want to get their biblical pronunciation right when they're reading, can you put that back up on the screen?
Yes.
That text shot?
Yes. Give it about 20 seconds to catch up with you. You can go and start talking about it.
Yeah,
though.
That's fine. So what? Okay. I'll go ahead and illustrate the principle verbally, and then you can show it when it comes up here. If you look at the word that comes before the word Kohen, which is here pronounced Kohen, and ask yourself this question: what is the final sound of that word before it?
Oh.
What's the sound? Yeah, oh, right?
Oh, right.
Okay, so what you have here is a final syllable that is an open vowel sound.
Okay, right.
If we did this in an English sense, like we take the word obey, now even though there's a Y there, you don't hear the Y. It's not like the Y in yellow.
Right.
It's obey, like
okay.
A, as opposed to the word cat. Cat has a closed consonant at the end.
Okay.
But this word here that comes up in front of, which I'm not seeing yet, Maybe if I run the program here and hang on a second, I have to turn the volume off.
Okay.
Okay. So that's why it's there. If you have a word, the last syllable of which is an open vowel sound, and the next letter is one of those that has a dagesh in it, one of those begad kafat or beged kefet letters,
right,
then that dagesh is going to be removed. And you'll see this a lot with the letter bet, which becomes a vet. You'll see this with the letter pei, which becomes a fei. And here you have it in the case of the letter kaf, which becomes a chaf.
Interesting.
And if everybody's heads are dizzy right now, then I understand that. But that's the basic explanation. But now, as you go forward with these wonderful learners, then you can kind of point that out, because now you understand what the principle or the phenomenon is.
Okay, that's wonderful. Gavriel, man, thank you so much. Thank you. Because it's funny, I've crossed the path of the Beged Kefet letters like numerous times, and I've never been able. And the way you just described it, it just all of a sudden it clicked. I was like, oh, so when those Beged Kefet letters are following a word that has an open vowel, that's when it's applied. I finally get it. Okay, fine. Now, real quickly, since you're on the phone still, we'll make this kind of our last deal, because I've actually gone. I've been having so much fun. I totally lost track of time. I really wanted to end it at an hour. We're an hour and 13 minutes right now. So the Beged Kefet letters, basically just, I'll just say it this way, and then you could follow up and explain them just briefly. So the Beged Kefet letters are basically, it's like a phonetic acronym for, it's kind of like, I'm not going to give you a kind. I'm just going to tell you what it is. Okay, so like the B sound, B, G, T, K, P, T, right? So each one of those are one of the 6 letters, the B sound, the bet, the gimel, the tav, no, the tet, and then, or however that works. So go ahead and explain just real quickly what you can give us to absorb just in a quick soundbite of some kind. What should we take from this Beged Kefet tonight, being in the pilot show?
Okay. Well, there are 6 letters that, and these are, by the way, not to be confused with the ones that we call manufats, which are the 5 final letters that have a different form. You already showed that with the mem.
Okay.
Which looks like the little square. And these are really great things that you'll point out in context. And you came up with a very great idea for everyone to just focus on reading. I did this years ago when I learned Greek, for example. And I just sat and I'd go for hours just reading. I had no idea what I was reading. Sometimes I'd come across something I recognized, but in most cases, like Adelphos or whatever. But do the same thing with Hebrew just to get you called it sight reading, like we do with music. That's the right thing. So one of these, again, pronunciation phenomena in Hebrew philology is called Beged Kefet or Begad Kafat, or sometimes you see it written Gavad Kapat.
Right.
And there are these 6 letters which you mentioned, and whether or not they have a dot in them influences the pronunciation of, at least in modern Hebrew, 3 of those 6.
Okay.
Now, there are some people today who, for example, will take a taf, which is the final letter of the Hebrew alphabet, and they will pronounce it like a th.
Right. I've seen that.
Now, from the Arabic influence, you find that these are still extant. They still exist. So, for example, the letter D, without a dot, is pronounced like the th, like in the word this.
Right, gotcha.
And the T, the taf, without a dot, was pronounced like th in the word thin.
Right.
Now you notice the first one I said, this, you can hear, it's voiced.
Right.
I'm using my vocal cords with it. Whereas the second one, I'm not using my vocal cords. But if I say the word think,
right,
thin, as opposed to the word that, which is vocalized. So those, and I also mentioned the gimel, that without a dot, the Yemenites pronounce it gimel.
Okay.
So when we make the blessing on the wine, Borei Pri Hagafen, the Yemenites pronounce it Borei Pri Hajafen.
Interesting.
To this day, they still do that.
Okay.
So that's kind of what you need to know. But as far as bringing this back down to the simple letter, level 0, level 1, where we're at tonight, as you encounter this in context, and you ask a question like you did earlier, like, whoa, this must be a misprint. It's not a misprint in the biblical text.
Got it. Wow.
Does that help a little bit?
That helps tremendously. Yes, thank you very much for clarifying that. That's awesome. Gavriel, thank you so much for your help. I really, really can't thank you enough for the time you dedicate to coming on the Tanakh Talk during your show time, and it's something I look forward to each week. So,
well, I'm sitting here finishing off a 3-page modern Jewish history test for my 12th grade students tomorrow, and I needed some creative diversion, and I saw your program coming on, and I just love the constituency here, and I encourage everybody that's here. I just think every one of you, just God bless everyone.
Thank you, and God bless you, my friend. Take care. Shalom, shalom.
Kol tov. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you. Bye. Okay, so to go ahead and add a little bit more to that for the clarity of why that's important is because when you're learning, if you already know the alphabet, then you can actually tell whenever that little dot, if it's in the middle of a letter, that little dot called the dagesh, if it's in the middle of a letter, why is it there? Is it trying to make a vowel sound? Well, you need to know which letters have that possibility so that you can rule them out as, well, that's not a vowel, that's actually a dagesh that's used for phonetic reasons. So that's kind of the basics of it right there. Okay, so man, there's so many things I want to cover. Gavriel says, well, I'm listening to myself here from like 3 minutes back. Wow. Well, I don't know how long the lag is. It depends on the internet speed. And keep in mind too, when you guys are watching, if the internet all of a sudden drops out or so, don't worry about it. It will be uploaded in its full version at the end of the show. YouTube, sometimes depending on the weather or whatever the case may be, as long as I can keep a connection, it'll upload correctly the way it needs to. So, and I also have a copy on my hard drive, so if something doesn't go well, I can always upload the actual hard copy. We are way over for tonight, but the bad thing is I could go for another 2 hours, man. This is definitely something delightful for me. I'm so thankful for all of you guys out there who are wanting to learn. Somebody asked a question earlier real fast. And I was going to answer it and I forgot. Let me just check real fast. Okay, how do you pronounce it, though? Daniel Shannon says, how do you pronounce achet? And again, the best way I can describe that is like you're just kind of making like a dry, not wet, but a dry. Like if you've really seen a cat get mad, you can hear him go. It's that type of a sound, not the open throat, but more like not like a breath, but more like a tight, constricted, like you're pushing air out through, your tongue is collapsing towards the top of your throat, making a tiny airway, and you're blowing it out. That's het, right? Hopefully that answers your question. And Lorene, let's see, you asked a question too. Het is pronounced like you're clearing. No, that's actually that's the chaf. The het is more closer to a hey sound. Okay, and then let's see, sin is never right. That's exactly correct. All right, thank you. Very good. Okay. I'm really sorry. I'll be more careful on mispronouncing words. I was so stuck on using that word chotain earlier that whenever I was on Kohen, it even verbally sounds the same, and my brain was not catching up with what my eyes was seeing. I'm very sorry about that. I'll be more careful in the future. So, but ladies and gentlemen, I really appreciate you guys, y'all expressing an interest in this. I'm telling you, this is something that will change your life forever, man. It's a beautiful thing. Rabbi Singer referenced one of the great sages one time. He said, trying to read the Bible in English is like trying to kiss God through a towel. So there's so much truth to that. And the way I describe Hebrew, when you read the Hebrew Bible in the sense of things rather than English, it's kind of like when you're trying to watch a 3D movie, right? Or a regular movie that you see on TV. if you watch it in 3D, everything kind of comes to life. And so Hebrew is a very deep language, and it's a very multi-layered language. Whereas, in English, it's not. It's that you can only transmit so much information in English, whereas Hebrew is just so rich and so thick, man. It's juicy. So, well, I'm going to call it a night. My wife is probably wondering why I didn't make it home yet. So, I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. I'll try to get a good class set up for you for next week. I will probably be discussing with Gavriel different options on how to approach this entry level as efficiently and effectively as possible. But again, next week I'm going to put in a lesson for next week, which will be next week's Torah Parsha. So that way, if you have your Chumash, or if you have an interlinear Bible, by the time Shabbat comes, you can actually read in Hebrew the first verse or two for the first time. Love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Same place. Hashem willing. Take care. Yay! We did it. And I'm still alive. Yeah, that's good.